I'm not a flat earther or a globe earther.
Really?
But if you forced me to pick one, I'd pick flat earth. For one, we might have a credible scientific explanation for the firmament.
Flat earthers are back at it again, this time with a credible explanation for the firmament. Yeah, because when I want credibility, the first place I look is the flat earth community. It's like asking a snowman for tips on sunbathing. Now, they're saying that the sky isn't just the sky, it's a firmament, an ancient cosmic dome that's apparently as real as the Tooth Fairy's dental clinic. But let's entertain this for a second. If the firmament's real, what's it made of? Glass? Divine cling film? And who the hell's cleaning it? I can't even reach the cobwebs in my studio. Imagine the ladder you'd need for that job. So let's see what this guy has to say, shall we? Please subscribe. In today's video, I utilised Type AI to retrieve crucial information on debunking the flat earth theory. And with its assistance, I was able to access the information effortlessly and quickly, obtaining the 5 main points to address this topic. Now, this nifty app is like having a mini genius in your keyboard, all thanks to the ChatGPT API. Now, whether you're texting on the go or crafting that perfect tweet, Type AI has got your back on any app or platform on your phone. Say goodbye to those pesky typos, grammar goofs, and the eternal struggle to find just the right words. With Type AI, you are the maestro of your messages. Need a quick grammar check? Done. Want to translate on the fly? Easy peasy. How about a snappy auto reply or letting AI finish your sentences? You've got it. And for those times you need to shake up your text vibe, the paraphrase and tone changer tools are just pure gold. Now, I've been playing around with Type AI for a few weeks and it's absolutely a game changer. The email writer is my personal favourite. Just a few taps about what you want to say, pick the style and bam, it crafts the perfect email. And the tone changer is absolute wizardry, whether it's a WhatsApp message or a quick text. I just pick my desired tone and Type AI works its magic. Are you curious to try it out? Just click the link in the description for a free trial of Type AI Premium. And trust me, it's like stepping into the future of typing. Right, let's dive into today's video, shall we?
For one, we might have a credible scientific explanation for the firmament. But to make a long story short, the ozone layer is comprised of O3. O3 freezes into a solid.
O3 is the chemical symbol for ozone. It's a molecule made up of 3 oxygen atoms bonded together. You'll find ozone high up in the Earth's atmosphere where it forms a layer that protects us from the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. But down here at ground level, ozone ain't so friendly. It can be a pollutant that harms our lungs and the environment, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Super helpful up there? Not so much down here, but it can indeed freeze into a solid. Ozone transitions from a gas to a liquid at about minus 169.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and then from a liquid to a solid at roughly minus 315.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And I can see exactly where this is heading, and I bet you can as well.
The temperature of outer space is negative 450 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, it's minus 454.81 actually, but I'm not here to split hairs. Now, the reason I chose this video today is that he said he isn't a flat earther or a globe earther. But it's clear that he is a flat earther, and in my humble opinion, a pretty dangerous one. Now, the information he's shared so far is pretty accurate, but what he's doing is twisting the information to try and convince people of something that simply isn't reality.
Making it colder than the freezing point of oxygen. Therefore, it's highly possible that oxygen is freezing up there into a glass-like substance. When oxygen freezes, it turns a light blue.
The freezing point of oxygen is about minus 361.82 degrees Fahrenheit, and the average temperature in space is minus 454.81 degrees Fahrenheit. And I know exactly what you're trying to say, and that's that there's a dome because space froze the ozone layer. Is that your credible evidence? The reason the ozone layer doesn't freeze in space, despite the average temperature in space being much colder than the freezing point of both oxygen and ozone, has to do with the fact that the ozone layer isn't directly exposed to the vacuum of space. The ozone layer exists within Earth's stratosphere, roughly 10 to 30 kilometers, or 6 to 19 miles above the planet's surface. and this layer of the atmosphere is shielded by the layers above it, including the mesosphere and the thermosphere, which protects our ozone layer from the extreme cold of outer space.
Now, if oxygen is freezing at the top layer that touches space, right below that, it would be liquid oxygen.
So the exosphere is the outermost layer of our atmosphere, stretching up to 10,000 kilometers or 6,200 miles. Now, in the exosphere, oxygen is playing hard to get, and this layer is where Earth's atmosphere is basically ghosting us, thinning out into space. Don't get me wrong, it's got a cocktail of gases like hydrogen, helium, and yes, our elusive friend oxygen atoms. But you know how earlier on I mentioned that this guy was pretty on point with his facts? Well, I hadn't actually hit the exosphere part of his space TED talk when I decided to respond. Turns out space isn't just the final frontier, it's also the ultimate Where's Wally, but with oxygen.
Which would of course explain the waters above.
Really? Now, is that your expert opinion, or is it just something that you heard another flat earther say in a YouTube video?
So how would solid and liquid oxygen stay all the way up there?
Yeah, I was just wondering that myself, actually.
Well, as soon as it got warm, it turned into a gas, and then it just flowed up there. And then it get cold again and turn into water and ice.
What?
Here's where it gets really interesting. A lot of people will tell you that the rainbow is shaped like a bow because each individual water drop is circular. That's an absolute BS lie. The water provides a screen. The rainbow is always there. We just can't see it all the time.
Well, of course you think it's a load of BS. You know, with you not being a flat earther and all. Our rainbow's always there. In a way, yes, whenever the conditions are right. But whether you get to see a rainbow or not depends on where exactly you're standing at that time of day. And why is it an arc or a bow shape, as he said? Well, it's because of the way light rays bounce off the inside of raindrops and shoot back out. The angle at which this happens makes the colour spread out into a circle, but we're only seeing part of that circle unless you're lucky enough to be on a plane and see a rainbow.
When the rainfall happens, then we see the rainbow. So the rainbow is always a bow. And why?
Because light gets refracted from raindrops.
Because the light that is emitted from the prism reflects the shape of the prism.
And in this instance, the shape of the prism is spherical, because raindrops are spherical.
Because we live under a convex dome prism.
You know, I'm really glad you're not a flat earther. Imagine how stupid his explanations would be if he was a flat earther. And just for clarity, you're trying to debunk the way rainbows are formed by explaining exactly how rainbows are formed. Apart from the dome bit, obviously.
Now, if you subscribe to the idea that the ice wall is all around the outside edges of the Earth, again, it would explain it connecting to the frozen firmament. When we get to the edge, we get to the coldest place, out in outer space.
Oh wait, you're serious?
And why is it so cold? Well, people need to understand what energy, temperature, and time actually is.
Well, no, not really. All we've got to do to understand how cold it is at the South Pole is remember one very important thing. It's almost all ice!
There's lots of people saying that you can't have temperature without matter. That's absolutely untrue. You just can't measure it without matter.
The concept of temperature is inherently linked to matter, as it's a measure of the average kinetic energy of the particles within a substance. So without matter, in the strictest sense, you don't have anything whose kinetic energy you can measure, which means you can't define temperature in the way we normally understand it. Now, you can describe the energy of electromagnetic fields or radiation in terms of temperature, but to measure temperature, you need matter, as measurement devices rely on the interaction between them and matter to produce a temperature reading.
But mark my words, if you stuck your hand outside into space, it would freeze.
And that's because humans and human parts, like hands, are definitely matter. Matter is anything that has mass and takes up space, and humans fit that description perfectly. Our bodies are made up of cells, which are made up of molecules, which in turn are made up of atoms. All these components have mass and occupy space, which means we are composed of matter, just like everything else in the physical universe.
So why does this happen? Because there's nothing energetic happening out there. Therefore, all the energy from your hand would leave and go out into space to try to equalize.
If a human were exposed to the vacuum of space without protection, they would eventually freeze, but not instantly. The immediate dangers in such a scenario would actually be lack of oxygen for breathing and decompression, not freezing. The body would cool down over time as it radiates the heat away, as you quite rightly said, but this process would take a while.
Heat is directly correlated to energy. When something is energized, it heats up, right? So when you heat up a molecule, everything gets faster in there and it starts vibrating, right? That's energy. It requires energy for the molecule to vibrate.
Now, at this point in the video, I feel like we've heard enough from this guy for me to be able to ask a question that's been burning away inside me. What the hell does any of this have to do with the shape of the Earth?
Matter is going to get frozen into its solid state very quickly, no matter what the matter is. All matter freezes into a solid state at 0 degrees Kelvin. Outer space is 5 degrees Kelvin. You only need 5 more degrees to be at absolute zero. And what happens at absolute zero? Time stops.
At last, a bit of what I'm used to, a not flat earth are getting something wrong. The concept of time stopping at absolute zero is a misunderstanding. Time, as we understand and measure it, is a separate dimension from the 3 spatial dimensions and is not directly affected by temperature. The flow of time, according to our best understanding of physics, continues regardless of the temperature. The slowing or stopping of atomic or molecular motion at absolute zero does not impact the progression of time itself.
Time doesn't exist because what is time? Well, time is a construct created by human beings.
Time as we commonly measure and understand it, seconds, minutes, hours, days, and so on, is indeed a human construct developed to quantify and organize the continuous progression of events. But in physics, time is a dimension like the dimensions of space, and it plays a crucial role in the theories that describe the behaviors of the universe, such as Einstein's theory of relativity. And in this context, time is not just a human intervention, but a fundamental aspect of how the universe is structured and operates.
Interestingly enough, heaven is thought to be a timeless place. Well, technically, if heaven is outside of this firmament plane that we exist on, that it is in fact timeless if it gets to that place where there's no temperature.
Yeah, but we've already established that time and temperature are not directly linked. And what you call a timeless place, well, we call it an imaginary place. But you know what we haven't established throughout your video is what the actual hell does any of this have to do with the shape of the Earth? I think I know why you're doing it, because you seem to think that using these accurate descriptions and then trying to force them to fit the flat Earth model, that it makes you seem smart. Well, it doesn't.
And for all the haters and trolls that are going to come into the comments and try to make fun of people that are interested in this theory, or people who try to speculate on it and ask more questions, if you just come and say, oh, you're dumb, but then don't explain yourself, understand that you're the one that looks like you're dumb.
Oh, and how do you feel about people who make response videos to this thing? Oh, you're still here then. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something new. If you did, then you'll probably enjoy this video as well. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new. And I will see you all again very soon, or in a few minutes if you do decide to watch this recommended video. Love you, bye.